How's it going, YouTube? Navy Sooner here. Today, we're going over SHTF rifles. Now, in my last video, I talked about how you need to start getting ready for what's to come. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's getting ready to happen. In my belief that there's getting ready to be a lot of stuff about to happen, whether it be a WW3, CW2, we're pretty close to being nuclear when it comes to war. There could be an EMP, which I think an EMP and nuclear war are probably going to be the two closest and most likely things that are going to happen. So you really want to get prepared, and this is one of the things, is getting your rifle ready. I talked about in my last video how you need to probably stop buying so many guns and start just getting the ones that you know that you're going to use regularly ready, and also training with those. Biggest thing is training as well. I mean, you need to go out and you need to practice. And I'm not talking about like being a door kicker or anything like that, but you need to be able to use that rifle in a fight if you need to, because these rifles aren't for sport. These rifles aren't for just simply hunting. These rifles are mainly intended for protecting yourself, your homestead, and your community. The first thing that we're going to talk about is what caliber should you use. I think 300 Blackout is a great caliber, but I really think, for me, I'm going with 5.56. Now, some people might want to go with 7.62 by 39 with an AK, or a 5.45 by 39 for an AK, or something else like 308 AR-15. But the thing about those is you need to be able to, later on what I'm talking about in ammo, you need to be able to have enough of it, and you need to be able to have enough of it to train as well. So I'm going with 5.56. Not only am I going with 5.56, I am stockpiling 75 grain, 77 grain 5.56 223 rounds. I'm also reloading for like my precision rifle, and I found a load that really likes, and I'm starting to zero everything for it, and I'm just pounding out rounds for it daily almost, and just stockpiling. Now, I do say that like you need to get the round that you want and stockpile it. Like I said, 75 to 77 grain, but you can also, if you need to, like 55 grain, 62 grain, 68, 69 grain, those are going to be just fine. It just depends on what you want. Also, if you're going to stockpile another weight of bullet, I would also stockpile the other stuff just for if you run out, because also, I mean, COVID hit, and I mean, there damn well could be another one, and you'll just start running out of ammo, and then all of a sudden, boom, WW3 or an EMP goes off, and you're not gonna be able to go get that ammo. So definitely what I'm starting out with talking about is my ammo choices. So stockpile those, just start getting as much ammo as possible, and I mean, in the caliber that you want. So yeah. Next, we're going to talk about barrel length. The barrel on this rifle, this is an SBR, and it has been Form 1'd, and it was well before the whole stupid brace bullshit that the ATF wants to pretend like they're a governing body. It's well before that, and yeah. So, by the way, all you people out there that are talking about, oh, well, I'm just going to go ahead and Form 1 my stock brace so I can have an SBR. No, don't. Stop living under the boot. You are the people that are going to give up your rifles or any gun whenever they say, hey, we got to give up our guns now. So yeah. This is a 12.5. I have a couple of rifles that I have kind of set up that I'm going to use in the SHTF situation. You need to do, like, if you are on low budget and you can only afford one rifle, you need to pick the barrel length that you want. I would not go with 10.3. I would not go with 11.5 or 10.5. I think 12.5 for me. I mean, if you want to, by all means, go ahead and do all that CQB stuff and get yourself killed early on. I personally am going to stay away from any CQB situation unless someone comes into my house or I have a family member or close friend that is somewhere that needs to be saved. And yeah, CQB is doing nothing but getting you clocked out from life in an SHTF situation. But 12.5 can do that if you needed to. I mean, even 20-inch rifles, Marines were doing in Fallujah. So, I mean, if you want to go with 20-inch, I'm sticking with 12.5 to 16-inch. I have a 14.5. I also have a 16-inch, and I have this 12.5. So I think 12.5 would be the best bet. Or I'm sorry, I think that the best range is going to be 12.5 up to 16 inches. That's just my opinion. If you want to say something else and you believe something else, by all means, say it. That's your opinion. And I mean, this is just how I'm doing it and my suggestions on doing it. Next, we're going to discuss optics. So I have a cheap old red dot here. This is the SIG Romeo 7S. I think red dots are a good option, but if you're worried about an EMP, then if you really want to keep a red dot, then I would have one sitting in a Faraday cage, which I do. I have my nice stuff that I want to put on if an EMP happens, like red dot wise, laser wise, light wise. I have that stuff sitting in a Faraday cage. And in fact, I have another 12.5 upper that I put on this, and I take this upper and I throw it into a Faraday cage. And I only pull it out whenever I want to train with it or shoot with it. I'm also just testing out this 7S, but if this is out and it gets blasted by an EMP, then I got what I need in a Faraday cage. So definitely worry about that when it comes to sights. Another option for sights, this is just on my 22 and I can move it over if I need to. This is the Generation 1 primary arms prism 1x zoom. I have a 1x zoom and a 3x zoom that I'm have on the way that I'm going to be testing out, and I really want to try out their new 5x zoom that they just came out with for their new generation. But the prism, you can dial it up if you need illumination. It's not as bright as a red dot in the day, but you can dial it up if you need illumination. But the great thing about these is they are more indestructible than a red dot, and also the reticle in them are etched, so you don't need to worry about red dot going out. You just don't need to worry about it because it's etched. You won't have illumination for it if it gets hit by an EMP or you run out of batteries, but you have an etched reticle. So that's a good reason to have etched reticle scopes like a prism. Another etched reticle scope that'd be good to have is an LPVO. LPVOs are not dead. Stop believing what people are telling you. Or any other scoped rifle that has an etched reticle. Say you want a 2-12 or 2-14 or 4-14, whatever you want. But I would stick with something that you can have something up close that you need to use, rather than going with like a 4-14. But then you'd have to rely on, say, a red dot for stuff up close. You just need to worry about if that does get hit by an EMP, but anything outside of an EMP, you really just are, comes down to batteries. If you don't have battery in them, they'll turn on, but they're not like great or anything like that. So, optic with an etched reticle would be great. Next that I'm going to talk about is get iron sights. Like this is a carry handle upper, and it's got a a fixed front sight post, gas block on here, my bad. But if you lose optics, like if you have nothing but red dots, or you run out of all your batteries, because guess what, batteries die, they run out, and even the ones that you can put on a charger and use solar power, guess what, those eventually won't take a charge. So you're going to need iron sights, and I wouldn't go with like flip up iron sights. While I have flip up iron sights on my 12.5 there, I think that I would go with like something like the Daniel Defense fixed iron sights, or like Midwest Industries or ScaleWorks. Those would be great. The ones that the ones for like the Mark 8, the original Mark 18, the Mod 0, where they take a carry handle that's detachable and just cut the carry handle off and leave the iron sight, the rear iron sight. Those would be great. It's just, like I said, you're going to run out of batteries eventually, and you're going to want some iron sights. And having stuff that flips down, and you're in a firefight and it flips down, or you say it may lock out, but that lockout can get broken real easily. So I would definitely look into getting fixed iron sights. That would be like my next thing. And yeah, I have some that are Midwest Industries, and I'm going to be putting on some stuff, and I'm thinking about trying out the ScaleWorks, not Daniel Defense, since they are ATF homers. So I'm going to go with ScaleWorks. I mean, if you want Daniel Defense, by all means, go ahead and form one that pistol brace and get Daniel Defense stuff. Next item that you need to get for your SHTF rifle is magazines. Get lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of magazines. When you think you have enough magazines, buy more. When you think you've gotten enough, then you keep buying more. Because one, they're probably going to be coming after magazines fairly soon, like federally. And then two, I mean, they go bad after a while, or they get broken, or you'll drop one having to reload and you won't have time to go get it or whatever. So I would get as many freaking magazines as possible. Going back to the ammo, the next one is, like I said, stockpile. I've got a ton of 223 75 to 77 grains up there. I have a lot that I'm reloading. If you are reloading, I would go ahead, when you get brass, go ahead and clean it, because eventually if there is something like an EMP in an SHTF situation, then you're not going to be able to clean that brass. So go ahead and clean it now. Tumble it, get it clean, because you're not going to have the electrical power to be able to do that. Next, get extra parts. Gas rings for your bolt carrier group, a whole new bolt carrier, like keep extra bolt carrier groups, keep extra bolts, keep extra firing pins, trigger springs, buffers, buffer weights, anything that can break on an AR-15, get it. It doesn't matter how nice you think that your Gucci ass AR-15 is, it's going to have something that's going to break in it, especially after hard use. And I'm not talking about like the barrel's going to break, but I would get I would get extra barrels, because you might shoot them out. Probably not, but I would just have them on hand just in case you need to change out a barrel on one of your firearms, on one of your guns. Now, obviously, AK, unless you have a press to be able to press that stuff in there, you're kind of SOL. So that's another big reason why I went with the AR-15, because it's a lot easier to change out barrels and parts, really. I mean, triggers are much easier in AR-15s. I mean, they're not hard in AKs, but they're a pain in the dick. So, I mean, that's another big reason why I went with AR-15. Well, we've come to the end of the video. Like the usual, just like, share, subscribe if you like what you watch. I do have a way to donate to me. It's down below. I'm not going to say much other than I have a way for you to donate to the channel if you would like to. You don't have to, and if you want to complain about it, someone saying that, fuck you. Other than that, I really appreciate you watching the channel. You need to start getting your shit prepared. Go look at other channels about preparedness. What's his name? Risky Krisky, if you have not heard of him, he's doing this like big thing about comms and everything, and I've been watching it, and I bought that book. So go ahead, and you need to start looking at comms too. Yeah, that's it. Navy Sooner out.